welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm doing some exciting Challenge 2 prep work actually, going into this school year, and then also showing you my bullet journal and how I use it for school as well as productivity. And yeah, there's a lot of things to cover, so let's get right into it. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe and like down below. Also, comment down below if you have any questions about what I've been doing for my bullet journal. I have a ton of videos on my bullet journal specifically, but I also have an Instagram, which I'll link down below, and you can ask me more questions there because I'm more active on Instagram than anything else. We're gonna get started with my bullet journal right away because this is my essential piece for sure for all of my school. I've done a bullet journal since Challenge A, and I haven't ever strayed from it. So that is 4 years of using my bullet journal. Let's take this into a different camera view. Here is what my bullet journal looks like. It is a spiral bound notebook that I got from Filofax USA. It comes with this little bookmark and a bunch of tabs that look like this. I don't use the tabs as much, but I do like that it's refillable, so I can take pages out of my bullet journal and then insert them back in, or when the new school year comes, I just add in new paper and I'm ready to go for the next year. So I'm not buying journals over and over. I'm gonna do a quick flip through of what I have. I did a lot of pictures on some of this, so this is for 2021 through 2022. A lot of this is bullet journal method. If you want to check out more about that, I'll link it in the description box down below. This is an at a glance, so it's basically just a calendar spread with all of the days of the week and all the dates, so it's easier for me to plan out and just see the whole year. This is a grid sheet, which isn't necessary for that, but here's where I get into some of the more essential spreads. This is what I call a future log, so it basically just plans out what's happening for the next 6 months. That includes for me when school is starting, CC Plus, which I'm doing this year, team policy debates, and any other like exciting papers that I'm creating. I just put this in my future log. Here is Challenge 2 semester 1 at a glance, and I highlighted all of the big projects I'm doing, like writing papers or writing speeches. This one has mostly in debate because I don't think I finished this up. But this is also really nice to have in my bullet journal so I can just carry it around if I don't have my challenge guide or I need to see what's coming up. And I get very artistic with my bullet journal spread, so I did a whole theme and made it pretty with like little flowers and leaves, and this is all with markers and pens. I started off with just a blank paper that looks like this. This one is actually dotted, if you can see that. But this is another calendar that I created. So just like before my future log, instead this is only 1 month at a time, and I have babysitting, work, also school classes, and any other like family events that I'll need to know about. Some of this is on my phone as well, but I like to keep stuff in here because it's easier to see and I like writing it down. Gratitude log, this is just something I do for fun. It has nothing to do with school either. This is for YouTube that you're watching right now, this YouTube video. Brain dump. This is an amazing spread. I've used it in multiple years in a row and I've really enjoyed it. Basically, the idea is you just write anything down that's on your mind, and this comes for me through Instagram. I got like skincare stuff here, but also like if you're thinking of random things and you're like in a car and like you need to write it down so you can remember it later, this is a great place to do that. I have a lot of random thoughts come to my mind at the wrong times, especially at night. So if I keep this by my bed, I can just jot it down, and in the morning, I'll be ready. Here's what my weekly spread looks like. Normally, my weekly spreads are a lot different than this, but there's a lot of different ways you can do this. I'm gonna grab my other bullet journal to show you some more. This was my bullet journal from last year. I ended up putting up this quote from a music lyric on the front of it. But here is a weekly spread that I could have created. I have a couple stickers and like fun boxes, and I'm gonna have another calendar and like a task and next week list. But the main premise of this is, as you can see, I have math, Latin vocabulary, Latin exercises, and all of this is to-do list for school. So I take the challenge guide that gives me my weekly syllabus and I break it down into what I'm doing each day. And this is really helpful for me, but I also love the creative aspect of this, where I'm not just creating a planner and writing stuff down like crazily. It's also super fun by creating really fun like doodles and spreads. And I also learned calligraphy, which is what is right here. I have a whole video on that too. So that's what I could do. And then you can also use it as a creative journal. So I do a bunch of things like Bible verses or things that just speak out to me. Like this one was Psalms 25 from my church. There's a lot of aspects you can do. I do a little daily writing, and sometimes here's another monthly theme I did. This one was with watercolor paint, so it's a bit wrinkly, but then there's more tabs and you can get really creative with all these spreads. I find a lot of my inspiration on Pinterest actually, and other journalers that's on Instagram. Here's a brain dump totally filled in. I tell you, I have a lot of random thoughts. Sticky notes, but yeah, it's like a memory and school thing. And I have a ton of spreads that I use a lot. And every single year I do a semester at a glance. So here's a different one, like the same one I had before. And this time I did a little semester 2 on the side. I have my goals for the year and like some things I needed to know, or like if I see later in my bullet journal, let's see, page 78. What? And this doesn't have to be an only girl thing. You could also do this. Oh, 76. Okay, so here's another page I did for school. It says projects due, and I have for week 10, I had to do a comparison essay. Week 13, I did another comparison essay. Week 14, cost of living project. So this was all from challenge 1 again. But as you can see, like I like organizing it in this way where I can check off boxes. And again, sometimes this gets super cluttered. So then I just move on. I just pick a new page and start over when it gets too cluttered for me, and like it's really easy for me to be able to organize. And then this was for blue books when I needed a new spread of like what I was supposed to be doing for blue books. That was also really nice. So there's like a quick flip through for this. I'm actually babysitting a week from now during the first week of school. So I'm doing the first and second week of school in 1 week. Instead of making it a daily task list, because I wasn't sure if I would be able to do it like that, I did just a really long to-do list just like this, and then whenever I'm done, I just check it off. And then at the end of the week, I always make sure to go back to the challenge guide, see if I missed anything, and then check off the boxes from the challenge guide. But I normally do is create a weekly spread where there's separate boxes like you saw before, and adding doodles and fun elements to my bullet journal. So that's kind of how I use this. If you have any other questions, I'll probably link this bullet journal in the description box down below. I actually paid a lot of money for a hole punch for this, so I can print my own dotted paper to hole punch and put in this journal. But it has lasted me, and I'm sure you can use any journal that you like. So that was like a whole walkthrough of how I use my bullet journals. As I said, I did this for 4 years in a row, so I'm pretty experienced in what I like to do in my bullet journal. It's always an experimentation of in the beginning and when I like spreads. And it doesn't have to be artistic at all. You can just make boxes and just put your weekly calendar in there. So bullet journal is like whatever you want. It's just like a planning thing for me and like getting ready for school and blue books and big projects. So I really like using my bullet journal. And now we're gonna go into how I organized the rest of my school stuff, which is like all my binders and notebooks and stuff like that. So let's go. Sure, we'll start with this. So I actually have 6 binders that I use. Sometimes I use all 6, and then sometimes I only need 5 or 4, depending on if I need separate paper or stuff like that. So this one is debate. I made it like in blob letters on the cover. It doesn't have to be fancy or anything, but here's how I organized it. Okay, so here is a little pocket. I bought these fancy notebooks for note-taking, which is what I do for science. When I'm reading through the modules, I use these notebooks to note-take in. I also use them to like write down definitions and any other things like that. This one, I was just writing on the first week for Challenge 2, which is Berlingi, the artist, and I read that chapter in the book Marvelous to Behold, and I took notes in this journal so that I can come back to them later. And yeah, these notebooks are Kokyo Campus. They're pretty nice, and I like using them. They have a number, a date, and then it has dotted lined, which is something I've never seen before, but these are really nice. And this looks pretty thin in person, but... And then for the rest of this part, I made 2 separate tabs. I actually have colorful tabs that are like this type of size, and I just copied them with this blue paper so it matched this and also match the cover. I don't know, I like color coordinating. So this one says classical artists, and this is debate folder. So debate is kind of in 2 different parts, so I divided the binder into 2 different parts: classical artists and composers, and then the next one is team policy debate. In my mind, it's weird that they combine the 2 for one subject, or like one strand, but it's okay. So for classical artists, I have this principle my mom gave me that has a rubric. All of these are different. I have like different worksheets for each thing, and this is what my teacher gave me for what we're gonna do for the artists, Western culture history. And it's pretty thick, so it takes up most of this binder. But then for team policy debate, I just have some of the essential things like this outline for creating the 1AC, and I also have a lot of these clear folder things. I don't know what to call them, but I have a lot of these in here for when I actually need it, and I'll include paper or whatever I'll need because I prefer using paper over computer. That's why I have so many binders and stuff. But if your student uses her computer, then maybe it would be a good idea to create kind of folders like this in the computer. Maybe I'll show you that after this, because I organize my computer in a way where I can easily save all the stuff that I create for Challenge 2 in that part. So that's basically the outline for how I did all the binders, where it has a cool cover for it. Some of them have a notebook, some of them don't. I'm trying to think. I know that for research, I made 2 notebooks. One was the fancy, like the blue one I used to sell there, but instead it's a green color. And I also included a separate notebook for definitions, because there's a lot of definitions that I couldn't write all in that little book. And I was almost out from last year's science note-taking. So I just decided to make them separate notebooks, but the ideas are all the same, where I make those tabs, and then I include any like work. I'm trying to know how to describe this, because it's like all the papers your teacher gives you that like you'll need for later. I normally put a hole punch in them, but you can also put them in the page protectors if you don't want to damage them and stuff like that. Oh, and here's how I carry around all my books. We found this rolling crate at Aldi, and I keep all my binders. Normally it's organized, but like all the binders can sit up straight in the bottom, and then I put all my books on top, as well as any like pens and pencils I'll be needing. I also got like a whole pack of pencils because I use a lot of pencils in Challenge. That's not really related. Binder system. If you have any other questions, make sure to leave them in the comments down below, and I can answer them all. I keep on saying put them in the comments. Just put them in the comments, and I can get back to you on a lot of this stuff. Any questions, really. All right, let's go to my computer and set up how I'm going to save some of this. So yeah. This is what my computer looks like. It is pretty basic in my opinion, but I just need basically a computer that can find research for me online, and also that I can type. So I made a shortcut here where I can just tap on Katie's files, And then once I tap on that, it brings me to here. I don't know why it doesn't sideways like that. And I have a challenge 1 and then I had a challenge B. I didn't have this computer challenge A, so I didn't use it then. But we'll click on challenge 1. And I have a couple folders, so I have cost of living project. I ended up making that its own because I didn't put them together. One for debate, exposition, research, logic. I didn't need all of the subjects, but you can put all the subjects if your student types a lot. And then these ones are kind of random ones. A writing workshop, Shakespeare project, poem ideas, Latin help, 5 common topic questions. And then any of these, you can click on them. This one has a lot of different parts to it. Debate always has different, like team policy and then all these other things. So I have economics, team policy, Eleanor Roosevelt presentation. And then I have a lot of different documents in here, but that's kind of how I organize it. I need to make a new folder for challenge 2, which I'll show you how to do that if you have a similar computer to me. That was a right clicking, and then you hit new folder, and I'll name it challenge 2, and now it'll be up here. Now I can add a new folder. We'll do one for debate, a new one for an exposition, because I type a lot of papers for that. I'll probably do lab reports, so I'll need another one also for research. But that's kind of how I organize that, and then as I create stuff, you can just save them to whatever subject it is, and it'll be easier for you to find, for your student to find, so that's how I would do that. So that is pretty much it on how I organize my stuff for challenge. Each of them has their own binder. If something didn't make sense to you or I said it kind of quirky, just comment down below. Brain books, I use these for taking notes in class, and I also draw and like doodle in here and everything like that. Brain books I love. So if you're a teacher, brain books are the way to go. And I think that's it for today's video. If you like this video, make sure to give it a like, and then everything I mentioned will either be in the comments or I can put it in the comments for you guys to check it out. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time.